A stranger collapsed into his arms outside a neighborhood grocery store just before noon, her breath heavy with alcohol, her hands trembling, and a tiny silver necklace clutched so tightly that it left marks in her palm. Every passerby looked away, assuming she was just another reckless drunk. Only one man stopped. He had already lost almost everything life could take from him, yet he refused to lose his humanity. He had no idea that by helping this forgotten woman, he was about to walk straight into the biggest storm of his life, a storm waiting for him at his new job the very next morning. If you believe kindness still matters, that forgiveness can heal broken hearts, and that second chances can change lives, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to our channel to become part of our growing family that believes hope is never truly lost. Graham Mercer had learned that life rarely rewarded good people immediately. 3 years earlier, his wife had passed away after a sudden illness, leaving him alone to raise his 7-year-old daughter, Nora. Every sunrise became another promise he silently made to his little girl that no matter how difficult life became, she would never feel abandoned. He worked long shifts, packed school lunches before dawn, braided messy ponytails despite never learning properly, attended every school event he could, and smiled through exhaustion because his daughter deserved a father who believed tomorrow could always be better. Money was painfully tight. After months of unemployment caused by his previous company's bankruptcy, Graham finally secured an entry-level maintenance position at the prestigious Westbridge Financial headquarters. It wasn't glamorous, but it offered health insurance, stability, and enough income to keep their small apartment. The job was scheduled to begin on Monday morning, and by Saturday he wanted nothing more than to buy groceries, spend the afternoon in the park with Nora, and prepare for a fresh start. The grocery store parking lot shimmered beneath bright sunshine as shoppers hurried in every direction. Graham noticed the young woman sitting alone near the curb. Her elegant cream-colored dress was wrinkled, expensive heels rested beside her bare feet, and strands of blonde hair covered her face. People walked around her without stopping. Some whispered judgment. Others laughed quietly. Graham hesitated only for a second before kneeling beside her. She wasn't unconscious, but she was clearly disoriented. Her eyes struggled to remain open, and her breathing suggested exhaustion more than intoxication. A small bruise darkened one wrist, and her phone battery had died completely. She murmured an address she couldn't finish before slipping into confused silence again. Graham called emergency services, but after examining her, the responding paramedics concluded she wasn't suffering from alcohol poisoning or any immediate medical emergency. She refused hospital treatment, insisting weakly that she only wanted to go home. Unfortunately, she couldn't remember her address clearly enough for anyone to identify it. The officers suggested taking her to a local shelter if no family could be reached. Graham looked at the frightened young woman whose confusion seemed deeper than simple drunkenness. He thought about Nora, about the compassion he hoped his daughter would always show another human being. He couldn't simply walk away. With careful permission from the authorities after leaving his contact information, Graham brought the woman to his modest apartment. Nora welcomed the stranger with innocent concern rather than fear. She fetched a blanket, poured water, and quietly drew pictures while the woman rested on the living room sofa. Hours later, during the warm afternoon sunlight streaming through the windows, the woman slowly opened her eyes. She appeared embarrassed beyond words. Tears formed before she even spoke. She apologized repeatedly for becoming someone else's burden. Her name was Celeste Rowan. She admitted that she had spent months struggling after her mother's death. Her father had buried himself in work, leaving grief to grow into loneliness. She had attended a charity luncheon earlier that day where she tried to appear cheerful, but the emotional pressure became unbearable. Drinking too much had been a desperate attempt to numb pain she no longer knew how to carry. Graham never judged her. Instead, he listened. It was the first time in months that Celeste felt someone truly heard her instead of offering polished advice. Nora eventually handed her a drawing showing 3 smiling people holding hands beneath a bright yellow sun. The child explained that nobody should have to cry alone. That simple drawing shattered the walls around Celeste's heart. By late afternoon, her phone finally charged enough to receive dozens of missed calls. Relief flooded her face before fear quickly replaced it. She thanked Graham endlessly before arranging transportation home. Before leaving, she insisted on repaying him somehow, but Graham refused every offer. He simply wished her peace and hoped she would find whatever strength she had lost. The following Monday morning arrived bright and clear. Graham ironed his only good shirt before walking into the towering glass headquarters of Westbridge Financial. Everything inside reflected wealth, perfection, and impossible expectations. Employees moved confidently through polished marble hallways while Graham quietly reminded himself that honest work deserved pride regardless of job title. Minutes before orientation, whispers spread throughout the lobby. The company's owner, billionaire executive Victor Rowan, had unexpectedly arrived. Graham recognized the surname immediately but thought little of it. Then the elevator doors opened. Walking beside Victor Rowan was Celeste. She looked completely different from the broken stranger he had helped only 2 days earlier. Her elegant business suit, confident posture, and composed expression made it difficult to believe she was the same person. Yet the moment her eyes found Graham across the lobby, she stopped walking entirely. Every executive noticed. Victor followed her gaze. Graham's heartbeat quickened. He wondered if she regretted being seen in such a vulnerable state and feared she might accuse him of something simply to protect her reputation. Instead, Celeste crossed the lobby with tears filling her eyes. Without hesitation, she thanked Graham in front of everyone for saving her when nobody else cared enough to stop. She explained that he had protected her dignity instead of taking advantage of her weakness. She spoke about Nora's drawing and how a little girl's kindness reminded her that life still held goodness. Silence filled the lobby. Victor Rowan looked stunned. The powerful executive admitted he had spent years believing money could solve every problem while failing to notice how deeply his daughter had been hurting. He thanked Graham with genuine emotion rarely seen by anyone inside the company. Word spread throughout the building before lunchtime. Some co-workers admired Graham immediately. Others grew jealous. A few assumed he had intentionally helped Celeste, hoping to impress wealthy executives. Rumors traveled faster than truth. Graham ignored every whisper and focused entirely on his work. Weeks passed. He repaired broken equipment, arrived early, stayed late, and never once used his unexpected connection to seek promotions or special treatment. Victor noticed. More importantly, Celeste noticed. She quietly began volunteering at community organizations Nora attended. She discovered happiness through serving others instead of attending glamorous social events. She and Nora formed a warm friendship built on crafts, reading books, and helping at neighborhood food drives. Graham watched carefully, protective of his daughter, yet he could see the transformation was genuine. Meanwhile, another challenge emerged. An influential department manager named Preston Hale disliked Graham's growing reputation. Preston believed respect belonged only to executives with expensive degrees. Seeing a maintenance employee earn admiration irritated him deeply. He arranged inspections designed to blame Graham for problems beyond his responsibility. Reports disappeared. Equipment failures were falsely documented. Anonymous complaints appeared in Graham's personnel file. Eventually, Graham was summoned before senior management. Evidence seemed overwhelming. Despite his innocence, termination appeared inevitable. Victor Rowan remained unusually quiet during the meeting. Instead of making an immediate decision, he requested complete security footage covering several weeks. The investigation revealed everything. Preston had manipulated maintenance records, intentionally damaged equipment, and attempted to frame Graham in hopes of protecting his own position after years of financial misconduct. Every accusation against Graham collapsed. Preston was dismissed immediately. Victor publicly apologized to Graham before every department head. But Graham's response surprised everyone. He asked that Preston be allowed to leave with dignity instead of humiliation because bitterness would only create more broken people. The room fell silent again. Mercy had become stronger than revenge. That single decision changed the company's culture more than any executive policy ever had. Months later, Victor introduced new employee wellness programs, mental health counseling, and volunteer initiatives inspired by Graham's quiet example. Promotions were increasingly based on character alongside performance. Celeste led several charitable partnerships honoring her late mother's memory. As for Graham, he remained humble. Eventually, Victor offered him a leadership role overseeing facilities and community outreach. Graham accepted only after ensuring the position had been earned through merit rather than gratitude. Life slowly became brighter. Nora continued filling their apartment with laughter. Her little drawing remained framed on the living room wall because everyone agreed it had changed more than one life. Celeste finally learned that healing never begins with perfection. It begins when someone chooses compassion over judgment. She rebuilt her relationship with her father, not because the past disappeared, but because both finally chose honesty over silence. Graham discovered that true strength isn't measured by wealth, titles, or influence. It is measured by the courage to help someone when no reward is guaranteed and no one is watching. One sunny afternoon, nearly a year after that unforgettable day outside the grocery store, dozens of families gathered for the opening of a new community resource center funded by Westbridge Financial. Children laughed across the playground while volunteers served meals under bright blue skies. Graham watched Nora run through the grass beside Celeste, both smiling freely beneath the afternoon sun. Victor stood quietly beside Graham and admitted that the richest investment he had ever made wasn't in buildings or businesses. It had been learning from an ordinary single father who refused to walk past a stranger in need. Before this story comes to its close, we'd love to hear from you. Please leave a meaningful comment and tell us this: have you ever experienced a moment when one act of kindness completely changed someone's life, or your own? If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. As the warm afternoon sun settled across the city, Graham realized that the greatest miracles rarely arrive with applause. They appear quietly, disguised as ordinary moments that ask only one simple question: will you choose compassion when everyone else walks away? His answer had changed not only one stranger's future, but his own as well. In the end, kindness became the bridge between grief and healing, forgiveness became stronger than pride, and one lonely single father discovered that even the smallest act of humanity can echo through countless lives, proving that hope always finds those who refuse to stop believing in people.